I want to go ahead and share my screen quickly with you guys. Please, I want, by indication, just if you can see my screen. Anybody? Anybody?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So we're here today for
Yeah,
a
I can
very,
see your
very important
screen.
lesson. Um, it's quite simple. Like from the two speakers that we had earlier, graduate school can be really daunting, can be really stressful, can be annoying. So many words to describe, right? But I believe information is the difference between people. I say this a lot, and I'm still going to say it again today. The difference between people who are getting admissions and scholarships and the people who are not. Sometimes it's just information, right? It's just something you may or may have not heard, or a lesson that you need to learn, or sometimes you just need someone to point you in the right direction. So that's why we're here today. So this webinar is being hosted by Irish Writers. So we're a freelance writing brand. My name is Guo Waribi. I believe I've not said, I didn't say that all this while, but as we go along, you begin to know more about me, myself, we as an organization, and what we have for you. So once again, I say welcome to Securing Admission and Scholarship Funds Abroad. For everybody who made it here, I say congratulations. You are in for an amazing ride. So quickly, let's, sorry, just a second. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. So I'm going to introduce you quickly to my team. And then we'll have a brief, maybe not so brief anyway, we'll have a conversation about a crash course, so to see. And then I'll have this small icebreaker before we take our Q&A session. So if you notice, there is something called Slido. If you received an invite to join, please join, as we'll be taking questions primarily from there. We will not be taking any question posted on the chat box because we want things to be a little bit organized. So for those who got, I believe everybody should have gotten an invitation to Slido. Please accept it so you'll be able to ask your questions. And we'll be having a very extensive Q&A session. I think that is the best way for anybody here to learn, because people have different experiences, different conditions, and someone else will be joining us during the Q&A session. So with that, I can say, let's begin. So if you have gotten a mail, a text message, or maybe a phone call from Irish Writers, know that you got it from either of these three people. So this is my team. So I introduced myself earlier. My name is Waribi Guo. As I said, I'm the founder and the CEO. Joseph Enoch is our Chief Operating Officer, and Lois Samari is our Creative Director. For everything you see here today, it's, to be honest, it's the work of these people. Everybody you can see here. So this is an open appreciation to them for the work they have put in to make this possible. So thank you guys. Thanks to my team. Thanks to my team. I want to start on a very unusual note. So if you can see my screen, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 scholarships that I've written here. The Knight Hennessy Scholarship, or to be a Knight Hennessy Scholar anyway. And this is associated with Stanford University in the United States. We have the Chibini, we have the MasterCard, Federal Scholarship Board of Nigeria, the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC Scholarship, the Petroleum Development Technology Fund, the PTDF, and the NAE Ajib Scholarship. So all of these scholarships here are very popular scholarships, accessible to Nigerians and for some people from other countries. And I want to talk about one common factor that ties all these scholarships together. Okay, maybe we'll try it for another session, but uh, okay, let me just spill the beans. I'm already excited, but let me just spill the beans. So the thing that connects all of these 7 scholarships that we have counted here is that I have applied for all of them at one point or another in the past 3 years. Yes, I have. So what I'm trying to say here is I have gone through this process. That's why I asked people to speak at the beginning if they have tried it before. So I didn't fall from Mars or somewhere. This is something that I have done. For some of these scholarships, I spent months literally writing and editing my statements. For some of them, sleepless nights. It has been a lot, right? And that's why I'm here seated and qualified to tell you and teach you about some of these things. Because literally, I have walked the walk and I'm not just talking the talk, if that makes sense. So that is my own story. So in the past 3 years, I've been able to help at least 100 students gain admission on scholarships abroad, either through directly writing their SOPs, their CVs, mentoring them, helping them editing one document or the other, or just simply being there while they applied, right? So, and this has come in the form of some consultancy. But one more thing I will add here is it's possible, right? For some people here, you must have applied maybe one, two, three times. For some people, four times. I know people that have applied 5 times, meaning 5 consecutive years, and they haven't gotten it. Some people get the admissions but don't have the funding. And this brings us to the next point. So, for some people here, I spoke to you in person. For others, you interacted with the form. For some, it was through an ad or something. Either way, I've noticed that um, if I interview 100 graduate students or people, prospective graduate school students, there are 5 common problems or challenges that they all have. And these are the 5 problems I've listed here. So the first one is that they don't know where to start. I think this is one of the biggest problems, even. They just don't know where to start. For some people, the website can be really disorienting. They don't even know how to go about it. They don't know what to do. This is a big challenge. And again, lack of information. Like I started with, the difference in people, I think you should have this at the back of your mind throughout this webinar and even beyond. The difference in people who get these scholarships and people who do not. Sometimes it's not really about competence or skill, although I'm not trying to downplay that. It's very important that you have the skill and you're qualified for what you're going for. But sometimes it's just information, just information. And that is why we have this webinar today. That is why we have this webinar. So like I was saying, lack of information. Some people don't just know the way to go. There are things that I've, in just maybe a 1 minute or 2 minutes conversation that I've discussed with somebody or people, and they were like, wow, so this is possible. I, Although I try not to make it seem like, oh, I had always, like I've known this thing for a long time or that I was born with it. No, I learned to attend sessions like this. I read, a lot of things we're not going to go into. But anyway, the second one, and you can see here, I highlighted it, funding. Funding is a big, big, big problem. Funding is a really, really, really big problem. Um, for many people, like we all know, getting admission is not even the issue. Getting admission can be really easy, but how do you fund? We're going to come to that. And for other people, it's reaching out to professors because professors play a huge role in you getting this scholarship sometimes, depending on the country you're going for or you are applying to. And then writing application essays. You see this one? As Irish writers, like I introduced, we're a global freelance writing organization, right? So this has been one of the things that has helped me even understand how graduate school in itself work. Because many people just have difficulty in writing. And I can't even blame you. The thing is, these essays play so much of an important role that you just have to get it right. So many seek, professional help and all that. And it's a really, really big problem. And the last one is the required examinations. There's some programs you apply for. They'll tell you, oh, you have to take the GMAT, you have to take the GRE, the graduate record examinations. Sometimes they say it's IELTS, they say it's TOEFL, many, 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 many things. So if we had the time to unmute all our mics and ask us in general, okay, out of these 5 problems, what is your own problem? I can bet it that 95% of us, or maybe slightly more, would point to one of these 5 things that I've mentioned here. To be honest, the problems are really not that far-fetched. It is the solutions that are. So, but what can we do about this? What can we do about this? And it's a little icebreaker. I've told you all the problems. I've told you what people face. And I believe nobody joined this webinar today to come and hear problems, right? Because, of course, You came here because either you have a challenge or you know somebody that does. You came here seeking a solution. You came here to hear something, to learn something, and you're going to learn something today. You're going to hear something today. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to a product which we have come up with as an organization from our own experience with students, with universities all over the world. And trust me, this is packed. So while I uncover that, I'm going to talk about those five problems again briefly. I'm going to talk about those five problems briefly. But before that, so here we have an ebook titled exactly the title of this webinar, Securing Admission and Scholarship Funds Abroad, an ultimate guide for prospective graduate students. So you see those five problems I spoke about, those five issues I spoke about. Um, we have lack of information or just simply being confused, not knowing what to do. We have funding. We have reaching out to professors. We have writing essays and other application materials. And lastly, we have, who can remind me? Examinations. So all of these five problems we discussed, they are all addressed extensively in this ebook. Not because I myself am the writer, but trust me, this is a very, very packed material. And for everyone who is on this webinar, we're giving a 25% off for it. So all you need to do is you can scan that barcode. It takes you directly. So this is just an interjection before we continue. If you scan that barcode, it takes you directly to the platform where the book is being hosted. It is 57 pages of pure experience, knowledge, and insights you will not find anywhere. So I want to talk a bit briefly about it before I come back to talking about our problems. So in that book, I dedicated one entire chapter because I am a Nigerian. So I dedicated one entire chapter, the last chapter of the book, to specific opportunities for Nigerians, right? So in that chapter, I listed out all the scholarships that are available to Nigerians, exactly how to apply for them. For some of these scholarships that I've applied to myself, even got into the final round, I explained explicitly how these things work. These are things you won't get online, and that is just the truth. I spoke about something like the PTDF scholarship. I spoke about the MasterCard. I spoke about the NDDC. Those scholarships I listed earlier. I spoke about them in great detail. And well, we know that you have to be qualified, first of all. That is the first requisite for this. You have to be qualified. Well, there are some things you will remember what I said, information, the difference between people who get this thing and people who do not. Information. There are some information that you will get that might save you 1 week of living on your own. Let me put it in that way. There are some things that you will learn in this ebook that will save you. I can't even put it into words. But anyway, you should hurry now to check this out. This discount is available to the first 50 people from this webinar. I have not launched this ebook anywhere, even as much as announcing the name anywhere. So this is an unofficial launch for everyone who is present here today. And attached to this ebook, so when you get this ebook, you receive an email that contains links to more than 500 samples and resources to boost your application, talking about practical personal statements, letters of recommendation, writing samples, academic CVs, and what have you. I even included something I don't know, I felt led to include it, but I included something for people, maybe somebody on this call or somebody you know who wants to go into veterinary medicine. That is, I think that's animal, right? I think that should be for animals. A guide to veterinary medicine. So there's a track path for people who want to go in this way in the UK. And I gave a complete guide. I gave a complete guide to how you can navigate this. And even one of the resources is on visa applications and how you can get your visa. So this ebook is all you need from start to finish. From start to finish. So I want to circle back a bit to talk about those problems briefly. So the first problem we started with was lack of information or not knowing where to start. So let me paint a picture for you quickly. I like to say this: if you're planning Okay, and a little disclaimer, I'm a US fanboy. I really love the United States education-wise, and most times I'll be giving hints and examples that are directly aligned with the US. So please, for people who want to go to other countries, of course, even in this ebook, there's a chapter totally dedicated to people who want to go to France, Germany, and Malaysia. Really, really big opportunities in these places. So it's not all about the US, the UK, and Canada all the time. So um, you can scan this, like I said, scan this barcode to check it out, or you simply go to this link below, bit.ly/ ebook by Waribi. Waribi is spelled Warebi. So if you have gone to the link, you can just put in the comment section, tell me what you see. Tell me what you see in the chat, in the general chat box. Tell me what you see if you have been able to check it out. Just type. I like to before we move on. You can just type out "I have checked it out" or however you want to communicate that you have seen it. So I want to know those who have seen it. Let me see. Okay, can the link to the ebook be dropped in the comment section? Okay, just give me a second. /. So that is it. That is it. Okay. Alex Ebuka says, seen it, and the price is $12. Well, okay. Well, it wasn't priced in dollars anyway. It was priced in Naira. Maybe his own conversion gave him that. Okay. Mahmoud should, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. Goodness. Yes, Goodness has dropped her own comments. I'm waiting for you all. I'd like to know that you have seen the ebook or at least you have checked it out. We have 118 people on this call. So I expect to see, okay, great, great, great. Seen it. I like that. Trust me, having this resource will change your graduate school application process. It will turn it upside down. Permit me to use that expression. Okay, I'm waiting for more messages before we continue. Ayomide says, I have seen it. Bello says, I have checked it, sir. Rachel says, seen it. Great. Seen it. Come on, guys. We need more messages. I need to be sure that you guys have seen it. Joseph Enoch says, guys, this is an opportunity of like I tell you, Joseph, you are right on track. You can't snooze on it. Soph said, seen it. Jessica, seen it. Anthony, seen it. Wow. Elizabeth, thank you for that. Tife, thank you. Don't just bookmark it, oh. You can buy it now because as soon as the ebook is launching, the 25% discount will be off. So for those who are just joining, this is an ebook going on sale right now, and it's going for a discounted rate for all those who are on this webinar. So there's a 25% off. And when it is launched, yes, the 25% discount is already effected. Yes, yes. So that is it. That is it. It's already effected. So we have it on now. So after the webinar, the discounts, not after the webinar, immediately, as soon as the ebook is launched publicly, because as I said, for those who are just joining, we haven't launched this material. Jagun Dobra said, I've seen it. I'll add it to my cart and purchase as soon as possible. Amazing. Thank you. Ayomide says, getting mine after the webinar. Yes, you can pay through bank transfer. You can use your ATM card. I think there are many more options. It's being powered by, I think, Paystack. I believe so. I think it's Paystack or Flutterwave or both of them. So you can choose. Um, when do you plan to launch it? Okay, so that depends on, so if as soon as the 50 slots are taken, we're launching it. So that is an automatic trigger for the launch. As soon as the 50 discounted slots are taken, we're going to be launching this ebook. We're going to be launching it. Great. Lois Samari, thank you for that. Okay. Okay, great. Isosa's iPhone says seen, paid after. Okay, great. Great. I think we've had enough responses. Okay. I think almost, let's say, 1/4 of the population here have seen it, and I can confirm that. So that's fine. So we're going to rush on because, like I said, we're going for a Q&A session. That session is Ezenwa. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrongly. You said, can we pay through bank transfer? Do you mean directly without going through the seller platform? Um, okay, let me just drop a mail. You can send a mail to this. Um, Send an email. If you, for some reason, cannot access it on seller and you want it, send an email um, I just dropped an email. I'm trying to pin it. Oh, it was a direct message. Oh, sorry. I'm going to send the message to everybody. Sorry for that. So everybody can get it. So if for some reason you cannot purchase this on seller and you want to get it directly, let me see if I can pin this. Oh, I cannot pin it. I can't pin it, but I just dropped the email. So if you would like to get it directly without going through the seller platform. So I think we're going to move on a bit. I'm going to talk about the challenges, like I said. I'm going to give a brief solution or answer to those 5 problems. For those who are just joining, let me take you back to the 5 problems. So these are the 5 problems that we discussed earlier. So don't know where to start, lack of information, funding, how to reach out to professors, writing application essays, and also taking the required examinations. So I'm going to do this in an unorthodox way. Let's come back to this. So people who are just coming on can scan this. So I'm going to do this in an unorthodox way. I'm going to use myself as a prime example. If you joined our first webinar, you know that when I teach things like this, I like to use myself as an example. It makes it more practical. So I studied mechanical engineering first degree, and I'd always wanted to go for mechanical engineering again, master's education. I'm currently running my master's. So that's something I've always wanted to do, right? Um, so my dream country was the United States. So please pay keen attention to this story. It will contain the solution to all those 5 problems that we listed earlier. So, well, you have to be attentive enough to catch it. So if you grab this story, you would have gotten away with so much value. But guys, again, scan the link, get the ebook. So, okay, so I was saying something, right? So first degree mechanical engineering, master's mechanical engineering. I wanted to go to the US, which for me, if you are looking for funding, so I'm already answering one question now or addressing one challenge now. If you are looking for funding, full funding, and what I mean by full funding is your tuition is paid, however the amount, you get stipend, that is, you get like a weekly allowance. I just read last night actually, when I was preparing for this webinar, that John Hopkins University, let me type that in the comment section for those who may not hear me clearly. So you can check it out. As I'm talking, you can check this out. John Hopkins University. Someone can help me confirm if this is facts. I read it from somewhere, but I had not confirmed it myself. So I want you guys to help me check this out. So John Hopkins University in the United States, they got $1 billion fund from Bloomberg. So this is a university in the United States, and they got $1 billion fund from Bloomberg for research and for other things. So they put this directly into scholarships for students. So as it stands now, John Hopkins is one of the hottest university in the United States. However, I must be clear, the application process, and this is an entire chapter in this ebook. It's titled, so you want to go to an Ivy League, you want to go to a top university in the United States. There's an entire chapter dedicated to how you can do that. So let's continue. So you want to go to John Hopkins, and they just received this massive fund. And so their stipend, I remember when I said stipend, after paying your tuition, you're given a stipend. So the current stipend rates, what I heard, and I would love someone to confirm and put it in the comment section, is that it's going for currently it is $52,000 per year for students who are on scholarship. That is not your school fees. I'm not talking about tuition. I'm talking about your stipend. Stipend means a monthly money given for you to just for living expenses, right? So you are getting $52,000 US dollars yearly, right? So I think I did the conversion when I read it. I think it was about 75 million naira. If you're in Nigeria and you know the naira rate, I think I used 1.5. You can check that for me. I think I got about 75 million naira. That's yearly, right? That is what you get as stipend. And then sometimes, and most times, your health insurance is covered. So what I'm doing now is I'm describing what a scholarship looks like in the United States. Remember, I said I will be biased towards the United States. So you're receiving a $1,500, I'm sorry, $52,000 stipend, which is your yearly money to come and study or to do some research or do some teaching assistantships here and there. So that is your stipend. So for me, like I said, a mechanical engineer, applying to a school like this or any school at all in the United States for this program, one of the first things they asked me for was application fee waiver. Boom. Application fee, rather. That is the first challenge. I know for some of us, we might have faced this paying application fee. Sometimes you might get up to, I think I've seen $90 before. I've seen $125 before. I've seen 55, 60, 75 thereabouts. So the first barrier most people have is paying for these application fees, right? And again, an entire chapter in our ebook is dedicated to how you can bypass application fees. Personally, I've applied to over 10 schools and I never paid an application fee. Not once. Not once. That is the secret I'm giving you today. And I gave a step-by-step explanation of how you can get it on the ebook, how you can get application fee waivers. So you know you can apply to as many schools as possible, although some schools don't give waivers. But for the schools that do give waivers, you can actually get these waivers. It is possible. Like I said, over 10 schools that I personally applied to never paid an application fee. Not even once. Not even once. So that's the first roadblock. You have to pay an application fee to submit your application. So aside the application fee, there's something we call the personal statement slash statement of purpose slash diversity statements. These three things I mentioned are not the same. Please note this. These three things are not the same. There's a difference between your personal statements, your SOP, and your diversity statements. I think in Canada, some people ask statement of intent. Um, some people ask research intent. So many things. And reiterating again, all these things are available in this ebook. How to go about them. They're available in this ebook. Um, yeah, so sorry, I was a bit distracted. Someone is trying to paint our ebook. Someone's trying to paint our ebook. You can help us color it, but please don't color the barcode so people can still scan, please. Thank you to whoever that is. Like I was saying, application fee is another problem. Essay is another problem, right? As people don't putting these essays together, sometimes they ask you up to 700 to 1,000 words. And trust me, if your SOP is bad, if your personal statement is bad, you are not getting the admission. I don't know the God you pray to, but if these things are bad, you are not getting the admission. It will take. Let me know these words that I cannot defend because the truth is, if your personal statement is bad, your SOP is bad, just forget about it. So after that, some schools go as much as asking you for what is called GRE result for people who are in the STEM fields, especially engineering. Like I said, I'm a mechanical engineer. You'll be asked for GRE. For some people, is GMAT or LSAT. Yeah, so these are some exams you have to write. But another secret is since 2020 when COVID-19 hit, a lot of schools have waived off this what's it called? This examination criteria for you to because the GRE is expensive. I think I can't really remember now, but last time I checked, I think it was about $245, something like that. That was how much you need to pay to take the GRE exams. If you convert that, that's a lot of money already. That's a lot of money coupled with the application. Let's say you're applying to 5 schools and you need to pay application fees for. If you multiply that and like add it together, you can see the sum you're already paying. GRE, IELTS. So moving on to the next phase of the story, I never took the GRE because I had this information that helped me navigate through schools that don't require it, right? I never wrote the IELTS. I never took it, never took TOEFL, and I secured all these admissions because um, the thing is, for the US, a lot of schools recognize that Nigeria is an English-speaking country, right? So you don't need to present. But in the UK, they require IELTS. But the thing is, you can actually use your WAEC or your NECO results. So for people who do not know, this is something you have learned here today. you can actually use your WAEC or your NECO results to apply instead of IELTS or TOEFL in the UK, right? I don't know about Canada. I don't want to say what I don't know. But I know for sure in the US and the UK, I've personally done it before. I've used my WAEC, I've used my NECO to apply. So I don't need to write IELTS. I was about 100,000 naira as at last year when I last checked.
Taxed by Atlas Toby. Taxed by Atlas Toby. Taxed by Atlas Toby. Taxed by Atlas Toby. Taxed by Atlas
Sorry for that. Wow. Wow. I want to be sure you guys can still see my screen. Sorry. Let me stop sharing for a second. We had some intruders here. Okay, the book is, let me answer this question real quick. The ebook is 57 pages. I'm sorry, guys. I'd like to apologize for that intrusion. I'd like to apologize for that. It is 57. Okay, you were still seeing before. Okay, I will share it again. I just wanted to be sure that the interruption we had is gone. I wanted to be sure. So the ebook is 57 pages from cover to cover, and is made up of. Okay, let me just give you what the chapters are about before we go back to talking about what we're discussing, just so that we're clear on this ebook matter. So there's a chapter about you know what? I want to be a bit generous. Let me just show you the first 2 pages. Let me show you the first 2 pages of the ebook. Is that fine? Can I go ahead? I want to see it in the comment section that I can go ahead. I want to show you guys the first 2 pages. Goodness said, I want more replies.
Taxed by Atlas Toby. Taxed by Atlas Toby. Taxed by Atlas Toby.
Wow. God help us. Sorry, guys. I'm here. I'm still here. Yeah, somebody said, okay, we should reset the meeting permissions. But we would like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Lois. So guys, sorry for that interjection. We're saying something. We're talking about, can you hear me now? Just to be sure. I said I want to show the table of contents. I was always going to show
we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me show you the table of contents. Let me do that real quick. Let me do that real quick. Let me see. Okay, I believe this is it. Wow. Just a second. Let me be sure I'm showing you the exact page I want to show you, because you should go and purchase your copy. You should go and purchase your copy. Okay, so let me share my screen. Can we all see this? Can we all see this? So this is the first page. This is like the cover page. Just to be sure. Just to be sure.
Yes, we can.
Just to be sure. Okay. Okay, great. So, okay. Just a few more replies, just to be sure that we can all see.
We can see.
Okay, great. So this is the table of contents. So reply to which one you think will be your favorite chapter in this book. Which one you think will be your favorite chapter? There's a lot. Trust me, there is a lot, a whole lot. There's a whole lot. There's no chapter 31, no, it's page 31. Sorry, guys. So that's the page number. Favorite chapter is funding. They're funding your education. Okay, I will tell you which one is my favorite. Scholarship opportunities for Nigerians. Okay. Salome is speaking my language. So you want to, okay, so subs, you want to attend an Ivy League, then you should purchase this ebook. You should. Goodness said everything. Fisayo said funny education. Hadi said all of them. Hadi, you had better purchase your copy. Wasiu said page 17, application document crash course. Jagun Dobra said choosing my path. Very important. Demystifying, exactly. I was waiting for this. Demystifying application fee waivers. This person knows Akpa Precious. You know your onions. Okay, so let me go slightly more. Who says yay? Who says nay? I want to take you one more page. One more page. One more page. Yay. Everybody says nay. Yay. Yeah, okay. So I'll give you a few. Okay, great. So you can all see this page. So this is the first page of this. Trust me, 57. If this is just page, this is the first or page 3. You have 54 more pages of value. 54 more pages of value. And like I said earlier, purchasing this ebook gives you the rights, or gives you it gives you access to a plethora of resources and samples that will help in your journey. Is it that we're all reading? I can't see any messages again. Are we reading? I want to go back to what we're discussing now. I want to go back to what we're discussing. We should leave ebook alone. We should leave ebook alone. We're reading. Okay. Someone is attending. He says one more page. Okay. Yes, you will get the recording. You will get the recording. That's fine. You will actually. For everybody that attends this webinar, you get the recording, a link to the recording. You get a link. You get a link. Akpa Pressure said, let's proofread small. Guys, we're going forward. There's a lot more to uncover. We should leave this place now. I want to take this page off. I want to take this page off. We want to Lois. There's somebody. Okay. I want to go ahead and okay, I can go ahead. Audrey says go ahead. Who is still reading? If you're reading, say wait for me. Okay, Elizabeth said let's go. There's so much to cover. I'm not going to the next page. That's not what I mean. I'm not going to the next page. I'm not going to the next page. I'm leaving the ebook totally. I'm going to stop sharing. We want to discuss other things. There's so much to discuss today. So much. Okay, great. Go ahead with the class. That's what I wanted to hear. Awesome. So thank you so much for that. Let's go back to the slide. I was talking about something very important. I was talking about something. If you want to see page 43, just purchase it. You have all the pages to yourself for life. Okay. Thank you, Wasiu. Thank you so much for that contribution. Okay. I was giving an example. I spoke about who checked out the stuff I said about John Hopkins. They are giving somebody, I read last night, $52,000. That is a new stipend yearly for students that are giving full scholarships, not inclusive of school fees, or just stipend alone. Stipend alone. Okay. Okay, great. So we can move on. So I spoke about application fees. I spoke about application fees and how to bypass that. A lot of it is in this ebook, like I said. I spoke about the personal essays. So now, some schools will tell you, and please, guys, this information is mostly on the United States. Mostly on the United States, because they give the most funding. So if you are looking for funding, my advice to you, my first number one advice to you is, if it's not Germany, right? Because a lot of people don't like Germany because of the language barrier. I personally don't like Germany. Because of the language barrier. If you're like me that you wouldn't want to learn a new language, then look straight towards the United States. Trust me. You would be shocked to know that it's not just 10 courses, that science, technology, engineering, and is it mathematics that receive these fundings. Social sciences get these fundings. Art. The thing is, there are so many people running after science fundings, and they don't see that there's a lot of funding in the arts. I know people who So it wasn't like the US. If you want funding, you would like the US. I know people who have gotten full funding admission and scholarships in mass communication, in history studies, in African studies. So don't despise. So there's a lot of funding in chemistry and anything bioscience, biochemistry related. There's a lot of funding there. So please look into the United States. A lot in tourism. I don't want to say what is not true. I'm only saying the ones that I know for sure. But trust me, if you look deep enough, you might find something. And that is the thing about researching and nursing, a lot of funding. Writing, okay, writing is MFA. So okay, I think we're skipping classes already. This is stuff for the Q&A session. So guys, can I go on with the class? When we get to Q&A session, we'll address all these things. I'll tell you some specific universities that you can check that would help with some funding. So let's go ahead with the class. I spoke about writing GRE. Like I said, I was planning to write the GRE, but I found my way around it and I never wrote the GRE, never wrote IELTS, never wrote TOEFL, never paid an application fee and got so many admissions. So many. So many. So there's a way to do it. And like I was saying, some schools will tell you before they can give you funding, for a lot of them though, funding is in PhD studies, not even masters. There's funding for masters, but you find the most funding in PhD. And this brings me to say you don't need a master's to do a PhD in the United States. In the US, funding for PhD does not require masters. You don't need masters to do a PhD. Straight ahead from your BSc, you can do your master, your PhD. And there's a catch, right? Of course, it's not just nothing just happens like that. One of the most important things you will need to know is you need to be able to demonstrate research experience. Yes, you can do a PhD straight in the United States. And that's how people secure funding. If you do your research where you find out that Nigerians have the largest population of educated immigrants in the United States, not even the Chinese have bested us. We are the number one in both master's and PhD studies. It's because of this information that I'm giving you here that people have found out and have gone ahead to push. You can get full funding PhD, but you will need to show research experience. So that is one of the ways. There are so many ways of funding. There is funding through fellowships. There's funding through assistantships, meaning research assistantships, teaching assistantships, graduate assistantships. There's funding through some science programs have special funding. And this is for the US. For the UK, the hard truth is 90% of the schools in UK will not fund you. Most of the funding is available from the UK, quote and unquote. A lot of them come from the top schools in the UK. I'm talking about University of Cambridge. I'm talking about Oxford. I'm talking about Imperial College London. So these are the schools that have the most funding for students. But aside that, the others, if you don't have your money, just relax. The highest they can do for you is give you discount. They call it discounts. They can give you £2,000, £3,000, £5,000, almost some to 7,500. King's College. I'm not so sure. I'm a US baby, so the way there's funding, that's where you find me. You find me where the money is, and the money is in the United States. So that's where you find me. So like I was saying, if your goal is to seek, if like I'm addressing one of the problems now, funding. If you remember, I highlighted it. Whoosh, funding. Funding is one of the biggest problems. Canada, you have a lot of funding as well. Aston University, somebody said 8K for STEM. So they will only give you, should I call it some small discounts, but funding fully is the United States. So some universities will tell you that to get this funding, you need to, so I'm addressing the problems one by one. I've talked about information, which of course it's this ebook in general, right? I've talked about funding. I've told you where the money is, and we'll discuss more about funding in the Q&A. I'm talking about reaching out. I've talked about the exams, those GRE, GMAT, IELTS, how you can bypass them, and how you can. It's all about research. Research. You don't need to write those exams to get admission and scholarships. Trust me. Some scholarships require that you write them to have an edge But on a plain level field, you must not write these exams. So I'm addressing these problems one by one. And the next problem is reaching out to professors. So some schools in the United States, they will tell you, oh, you have to reach out to a professor. And this is if you want an assistantship, if you want your tuition and stipend to come from the program, or a professor who has a research focus, has a project, or has a research he's working on and needs students. So let me just give you a small example of how this works. Let's use Nigeria as an example. Let's say someone should give me a company in the chat box, a Nigerian company, a big Nigerian company, not banks. A company is maybe science, maybe. Let me see. What are you guys saying? Let me see. Someone says Shell. Great. Great. Someone says Shell. I'll take Shell. I'll take Shell. I'll take Shell. If Shell wants to start a new drilling technique, right? Listen attentively. I hope you can still hear me. If Shell wants to start a new drilling technique, or they want to research into one new way of drilling, maybe is it vertical drilling, the petroleum engineers in the house, or fracking or whatever, and they don't have the resource, they have the resources, meaning money-wise, but they don't have the resources brain-wise, or the departments or the available resources to tackle this research focus for this new technology they want to develop. They would go to, let's say, Ife, Obafemi Awolowo University. Shell goes to Ife and says, "Oh, we are here to we're collaborating with the," and if you check, you see a lot of collaborations on LinkedIn. That's another secret I just gave you. If you want to find funding, follow the money. So what I used to do in my time, I used to go through LinkedIn a lot to see where these companies are, who the universities they are collaborating with. That's how I used to follow the money. So when I see the universities they are collaborating with, who they are giving fundings to, most times, even in the pictures they snap, you see the professors who are receiving recipients of this funding. So what I will gladly do is, after I've liked the picture, maybe commented, I will go and follow the professor, stalk him, track his university. So one mistake many people make is they like to come from the top down. I said this in my last webinar. They like to look for a school before looking for a professor. But another way you can follow it is track the money, track the professor, see whatever school he is attached to, whatever school he works with or represents. Then apply there, right? So that's one way to go. But that's just a secret I just gave you now. A secret I just gave you now. So when you follow these professors, so Shell goes to this professor and says, Petroleum Engineering, Obafemi Awolowo University, we have $100 million for this project. We need you to take this project. Let's say there's a professor there, Professor Destiny. They say, Professor Destiny, take this $100 million and be the head of this project, this research project. Professor Destiny will look around his departments. I need students who will be able to, I'm trying to explain the full funding concept. I need students, this project will take 4, 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years. I need students who would work with me on this project, right? I need students who, first of all, so these are the set requirements. So this is a system I'm teaching you now. I need students who have a background in petroleum engineering, first of all. Maybe they don't care about masters, like I said. So maybe your first degree was in petroleum engineering, oil and gas engineering, maybe mechanical engineering, or drilling engineering. Is it hydraulics engineering? Maybe they'll say, okay, anybody from all these 5 fields, right? Someone who has experience in this Aspen High, these are some simulation softwares in engineering, who has experience in MATLAB, ANSYS, and some other softwares. They might give a list who has this and this and these skills, and they will now say, okay, positions are open in my lab. Note, the lab has gotten that money, so they'll say position is open in my lab for motivated students to apply. When you see something like that, this is what it means. In the back end, that professor has money, that lab has money, that department has money, and they're looking for students who will come and do that work with them. So this is why I said most times PhD has more fun. I said the professor might have access and say, okay, this project will take 3 to 5 years to complete. Most masters are 1 year and 2 year programs. So if they give funding to master students, this is how some people think, some professors think, they will start the project, but they will leave after maybe 1 or 2 years. And I will start looking for people who will come and do this project with me again. That is daunting. So what they will do is they will look for people who are interested in doing a PhD, because they know that they can lock you down for 4, 5, or even 6 years. And in that time frame, the project would have been completed. So they say, okay, come and apply. Someone says they can't hear me. I just to be sure that that is just him and not everybody else. Someone said they cannot hear me. Please confirm you can hear me so I can continue. Oh, wow. Okay, great. So they can hear me. So I think it's your network. I'm sorry. I think you should check your network. So the professor will rather look for people who want to do PhD, meaning a 4, 5-year program, or even sometimes 6 years, and they advertise. So when you apply, so I'm addressing the problem of reaching out to professors, why that is a problem in the first place. Because sometimes you need to, when you apply to, like I said, people go from applying to the school to get the funding, whereas you need to apply from the professor. So you need to reach, some schools tell you plainly, reach out to so and so professor. If the professor says you are a fit for the program and you deserve this funding, come to us. The professor will go and tell them on the back end, tell the graduate school or the admissions officer that, there's a student, his name is Destiny, or his name is Waribi. He's going to apply to to this program, give him the admission, give him the full funding. He's working under me. That's an assurance. So that's how, in essence, scholarships work. Most of them, that's how they work. Some professors might be open to giving a few. Okay, they say they want 5 people on this team. If they want 5 people on this team, they want to take 3 PhD and 2 masters. So they will open applications for 3 PhD. And once that 5, the team of 5 is complete, or 10, or whatever number they want, they will now say no more funding. So when you apply, they will reject your application. So you who really you don't understand this process, you just apply blindly. And when they reject your application, you say, wow, these people rejected me. But the thing is, you never followed the money. You never communicated with the professor. You just went ahead and submitted an empty, quote unquote, an empty application to the university. And the university talks to the professor. The professor says, oh, sorry, my lab is full, no space. Then they tell you, oh, we are sorry, they'll not send you that email. We are sorry to inform you, or we regret to inform you, or however it is they do it. But on the back end, you don't know what happened. This thing I just explained to you now, 6/10 or 7/10, that is what happens. So to secure this funding, a lot of times you need to reach out to the professors first, early, and in time. These are 3 different things. And that's where cold emails come into play. You send cold emails. So a cold email is just, I like to call it try your luck. A cold email is you trying your luck with the professor. You are trying your luck. You want to see if it will enter. So when you send him an email, you describe in this email, many of the resources I said I would attach to the ebook. I have a lot of cold email samples and even what to do when your cold email is not replied. All these are things that are available on the ebook and what is attached to it. So when you send out a cold email, you tell him that, this is a response to an advertisement. This is just a general, this is not the format you should follow, please. But this is just me explaining how it works. You talk to them, telling them that, okay, this is a response to their advert, or you came across their lab, you're interested in their work. You must tell them, you must show that compatibility. You can say, let's say, you remember what we said earlier about Shell needing the professor to work on something about drilling technique. You can tell the professor, okay, I've published 3 papers in reputable academic journals concerning advanced modern drilling technologies or sustainable drilling technologies. You attach maybe a link to the papers. You tell him, you attach your academic CV. Please, there's a difference between your normal CV and your academic CV. Very important. Let's move on. You attach your academic CV. Sometimes you can attach maybe a personal statement or an SOP saying why you're the perfect fit for his lab, this project is doing. And when he receives this cold email, if he sees it, because the thing is, professors receive thousands, let me not exaggerate, but hundreds of emails. So yours has to stand out. And sometimes it's not even these professors. This is a secret people don't know. It's not even these professors that open these emails. Let's say there's a lab and the professor needs 5 students. He already has 3 students and he's looking for 2 more students to fill those slots, right? The 3 students that he has, they're the ones that will mostly look through the emails for him and come and say, prof, this person, I think this person is suitable. Let's reach out to this person. So when your cold email is not good enough, you don't have research experience, trust me, most likely will not even reply you. So if the professor reaches back, most time, after you send him that cold email, you can tell them, I'm available to to talk or for a call at your earliest convenience, if the professor is interested and impressed by what you have submitted, he will reach out to you. He'll reach out to you. You guys will have a call. He will ask you a lot of questions. He would test you in a subtle way to see how knowledgeable you are. And in all these things I've said, I've not mentioned masters. This is someone that wants to most likely recruit you for a PhD. He may not ask you about masters. He's interested in your research knowledge, your research experience, and what you can bring to his team, right? So you get that, and from there the professor says, "Okay, I think you're good enough for my lab. I would love to work with you. Okay, please go to the graduate school portal. I'll pass your name to them. Just apply. They'll give you the admission." So the admission you can see is a fickle thing. The most important thing sometimes, not all school operates this way, but most times, is to get the professor's approval. And when you have that, trust me, if you know anybody who has gotten a fully funded PhD offer, if we bring out 5 people who got PhD full funded offer, 3 of them most likely, even 4, I can boldly say 4 of them got professor's approval most times. And this is all about assistantships and all that. There's also another way to get funding in the US, which is called fellowships. Please, if you have questions, just save them. We'll come to the Q&A session soon. So when it's time, we'll take your questions. Okay, great. Like I was saying, fellowships. So sometimes fellowships can come from different places, different sources. The one I remember applying to was in Tennessee. These are 2 men who I think graduated from Stanford University in the 60s or 70s. I can't remember the story now. And they came together to form a partnership. So they give fellowships to students applying to Stanford University based on some leadership criteria. So there are a lot of fellowships around. I gave some links to track these fellowships in the ebook. So sometimes it might be some women in STEM fellowships. It might be some African Institute fellowship. It might be some researchers. They have their different requirements to get these fellowships. So once you see that you have what it takes or you meet the requirement, you apply, you get the fellowships. So most times, a lot of fellowships apply to masters. A lot of them apply to PhD. You go. Is somebody said I applied to Millennium Fellowship. So that's something people can explore. That's one example of a fellowship right there. There are so many. So moving on. So I think in this short story, I've been able to explain how or why all these problems most graduate students have can be solved. And the bulk of it revolves around information. And just knowing the right steps to take, knowing where to go, how to do it, and sometimes even having a community that is heading in the same way. And with that, I'm going to introduce something to you. So Outreach Writers is only one branch. We have another branch officially, which is launching right now, because like I said, most of the things that I'm showing you today, I have not put them out anywhere. Nobody has seen them. So it is first being offered to you on this webinar, first being offered to you. So let's talk about Arit Edu. So the way we have Arit Writers, we have Arit Edu. It stands for Arit Education. So we provide top-notch consultation and mentorship services to people seeking admission and scholarships. So it's either you have money, you really don't know how to go about it, or you are looking for scholarships. So these are 2 different categories. So on the Arit Edu consultancy, which is one of the sectors that we do consultation, we have full consultancy and we have collaborative consultancy. So full consultancy, you trust us to do a good job and get you the admission you need. This consultancy part is for people who most times have the money. Most times they don't want to pass through the stress. They are confused. They don't know where to go, how to do it, or what even in fact to do, the right buttons to press. They are really disoriented. They don't know how to go. So they come to us. And from top to bottom, if you don't get it, forget it. From top to bottom, they do everything. We get them the admission letter, and we wish them success as they fly down to their respective countries. So there's collaborative consultancy where most likely you would want to be a part of what we're doing. Maybe you want to be the one, maybe sending the emails or applying on the portal. You want to be the one, maybe doing 1 or 2 things. You don't just want to leave it all for us to do it for you. It's fine. We can collaborate. We have that as well. And on the other side, I like to call this Arit Edu Mentorship Program, AMP. or amp. If you're an engineer here, I think amp is units of current. So this program is blazed up. That's how I like to explain it. It's a small engineering inside joke. Sorry to those who are not engineers here. So we have the ARIT Edu mentorship program. And I'm very particular about this one because this is for people who are seeking. So if you are here and you're looking for scholarships, then the ARIT Edu mentorship program is for you. I'm personally heading this unit, and just a brief of, sorry. So just a brief. So the ARIT mentorship program is tailored for highly motivated students. You have to be highly motivated, and we have some requirements, right? So the first requirement is we're seeking first class or strong 2-1 graduates. So if you are a first class student or you are a strong 2-1 graduate, your result is because in all honesty, your grades do matter, especially when you're looking for scholarships. They matter. Sometimes research experience matters more, but your grades actually put you at the forefront of getting this thing that you want. So you must be very self-motivated. This is a DIY program. All we do for you is we provide you the enabling environment, all the resources, the connections, and all the information you need to succeed. We point you in the right direction. We hold your hands and we tell you where to run. Your success is our joy. And last but not the least, research experience. It is important that people who apply to this mentorship program have research experience. Very, very important to us. So there's a fee for this. It is 50,000 naira per candidate. And for this year's cohort, we'll be taking only 30 students. So we want to be sure we're giving as much attention to all the students in this program. So that's why we're taking only 30. So we can give you all the attention. But nevertheless, if you are a 2-2 graduate and you think you have good research experience and you think you are motivated enough to go on this scholarship journey with us, sure, you're open to join. Because in all honesty, we don't want people who join this program and be lackluster. We want people who, like I said, highly motivated. I think I should change that self-motivated to highly motivated individuals. We want people who are highly motivated to join this program. So this is the fee. So if you're interested in this, like I said, 30 students, you scan the barcode. It will take you to, if you have scanned the barcode, let me see those who have scanned it. Let me just see. You can just put on the comment section that I have scanned it or I've seen it. You don't have to be interested. Just to make sure that you have scanned it or you have put in this link. It is bit.ly/visit Arid Edu. Akbar Pressure says, seen it. But we're getting into the comment section. Can you delete that, please? We're slowly quickly going into the Q&A. So we're moving fast. So scan this. If you're seeing it, put it on the comment section. Seen it. If you're interested, you can also you can type interested. So we can even take note of you from here. If you don't want people to know you're interested, no problem, it's fine. But you can also put that in the comment section. If you've seen it or you're interested, Digital Tribe says interested, great. I'm guessing you are a self-motivated student and you're ready to go on this journey with us. Interested, great. Like I said, self-motivated students. And another reason why we want self-motivated students is because we want to be sure you get this. We want to be really, really sure you are getting this. We want to be sure. We want to do everything in our power to push you. So we want you to also want this for yourself, right? So after this, I mentioned earlier, I spoke about the consultation. So we have full consultation that goes for 150,000, and we have the collaborative consultation service fee that goes for 100,000. You can scan this as well, or go to the link below. So the link will be put on the comment section right now, so you guys can get it. Yeah. So this is for this. This is for this. I believe someone here has learned something new today because let's go back to our problems that we discussed earlier. So you don't know where to, if you don't know where to start or you lack information, please buy our ebook. We'll give you all the information that you need and more and more. If you didn't know, if you had challenges with funding, where to look for funding or how to get this funding, I believe you should have learned something new today about funding and how you can access it. A lot of more information are in that ebook because, like I said, there's a special chapter dedicated to scholarship opportunities for Nigerians. Trust me, there's a lot. There's a lot. It's just the information. So reaching out to professors. And another tip I would give in reaching out to professors is, for those of us in Nigeria, um, time difference is a problem. So you want to be sure your email is hitting their inbox around 9 a.m. their time. So something like that might be 3 p.m. for us, 4 p.m., 2 p.m. thereabout. So that's a tip for people who are looking to send cold emails to professors. And please, before you send a cold email, make sure you have all the requirements, especially for professors who advertise positions, right? And this is speaking strictly from the US because, like I said, the US has all the funding you need. You have to just maybe look deep. So writing application, essays, a lot of material in our ebook as well that would help. And then for the required examinations, also in our ebook. And then I spoke a lot about this. I spoke about application waivers, how to get them. Also, I spoke extensively in our ebook. So yeah, we are. I'll give us. Let me give us. Let me stop sharing my screen. I'll give us a few minutes, just 1 or 2 minutes. So maybe tell your friends and family that we're coming into the Q&A session. We're about starting the Q&A right now. And we'll be joining the Q&A session. So we're slowly getting into that right now. So for those of us who had questions earlier, please ensure your questions are clear. We don't want it to be vague, so other people can also learn. I want to answer them as fast as we can. As fast as we can. As fast as we can. Very important. So there's a link now on the chat box. You can tell your friends if they have questions, they can come on. They can come on now to ask these questions. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to process all we have discussed, and then we'll come back for the Q&A. Please don't go anywhere. You can even start dropping your questions. I believe we should have. Okay, great. So we have the Slido. I believe we all received invitations to Slido. I believe we all received invitations to Slido. So you can drop your questions there. If you had accepted the invitation, you can drop your questions on the Slido pop-up. I think that is how it works. I think that is how it works. So we'll be joined by someone who has a lot of expertise in Canada. Personally, I've applied to a lot of schools in the United States and the UK, attending a lot of sessions like this, speaking to so many people, and even in helping students over the years. So I can say I can stand firm for the UK and the US. But we'll be joined, or there'll be someone available. Someone says, I couldn't find the Slido link. Is there a way we can rebroadcast that? Okay. It's fine if you can't find the Slido app and you want to send your questions in the chat box, you can. You can. So why people send their questions?
I wanna be rich and famous, I ain't status, yeah. Live my life be, do mama proud, oh yeah, yeah. Money is not everything, I don't want everything, I just want plenty money for my pocket. I also don't want die like I live for Jesus Christ, purpose, to make him known. I also don't want die like I live for Jesus Christ, purpose, to make him known, Go. I wanna live a life that counts, Lord. When you see me, you go tap me for back and say, well done. I wanna live a life that counts. When you see me, you go tap me for back and say, well done. I want to flex and die, use my money, Savel Shaddai. Live my life for Jesus, and put it on the wine. I want to flex and die, use my money, Savel Shaddai. Live my life for Jesus, and put it on the wine. But now, boss, make we see. Do what makes you happy, who are you to judge? What makes me smile, evil to you, that's what makes me happy. See your body, oh no, I know, no. If it's not in love, you are causing sorrow. I don't want that like power. Live for Jesus Christ, purpose, to make him known. I don't want that like power. Live for Jesus Christ alone, to make him known. Go. I wanna live a life that counts. When God see me, he go tap me for back and say, well done. I wanna live a life that counts. When it's
Okay. So we are back for the Q&A session. We are back. We are back for the Q&A session. Where did we go now? Your family and friends, they left. Oh, are they not interested in the Q&A? Please share this with them once again. Okay, we have a question. We have some questions that some people already dropped here. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to. So what I'm going to do is, we said we had. Sorry for that feedback. We have Slido, right? Which is actually the platform for our question and answers. So what I'm going to do is, for those of us who can answer on Slido or who can ask questions on Slido, please ask on Slido, and that will make it more. What's the word? It'll make it better for us to be able to, answer them and be sure that people are getting answers they want. But for the others who are not able to access Slido at this point, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now so you can actually see my face. Okay, great. I'm back. So let's deal with the Slido questions first. I think that's best. I think we have two questions on Slido. So it seems this Slido thing is not working out. Okay, for those who can't, please drop your questions on Slido. For those who cannot, so the first question here on Slido says, please, how do I secure funding after getting admission? Okay, so a lot of schools pursue. Okay, a lot of people said they want the Slido link. So we're going to get that. We're going to get that to you guys. We're going to try and get that to you guys now. So you can ask questions like, but for those who cannot, you're free to answer or ask rather on the general chat box. We'll try and get to all the questions. So please, how do I secure funding after getting admission? Okay, if you are a Nigerian, this is one way you can secure funding. Of course, I spoke like I would say, because most of these questions here, the truth is I've answered them in that ebook. So if you want automatic answers, I'm still going to answer them here, but get the ebook, buy it, read it, digest it, follow its leading, and get your admission or scholarship. Please, how do I secure funding after getting admission? So if you're in Nigeria, like I was saying, most times it depends on the country. I need to put more context into this question. If you're going to the UK study, if you want to go to the UK, and you have gotten admission and you're looking for a scholarship, the honest truth is most schools in the United Kingdom would not give you that scholarship. So you're not getting a scholarship. You are not. For those in maybe in going for schools in the US, there are some schools who tell you, okay, even after you have gotten admission, you can still go and, if you're here when I explained about reaching out to professors who are applying to fellowships, there are also some fellowships that for you to even be considered for that fellowship, especially fellowships that have like school boundaries, they are pertaining to specific schools, you will need to even secure admission first. Or sometimes they'll tell you you must have applied or have proof that you have applied or have the admission. All right. So that is one. So when you apply for some scholarships, there's some criteria they give. Some universities they would mostly favor, sometimes, a lot of times, will favor people who are from that country. But the thing is, they have allocations for international students always. So you can apply it that way. But the honest truth, like I've described earlier, one of the best ways to get full funding, number one, fix your gaze on the US. Number two, try to reach out to professors who you have similar interests. Okay, sorry for that. I'm back. Who can hear me? Sorry for that. I just had a slight network bleep, but I'm here. I'm here. Okay, great. You can hear us. I was talking about funding. Number one, set your gaze on the US. Number two, consider doing a PhD. If it's something you might want to do, consider it. 4 to 6 years, full funding, stipend, research exposure, more opportunities. So it's my honest advice to people who want to study in the US and are looking for scholarships, look towards getting a PhD instead. It increases your chances of getting funding by a mile. Salim says, what is the difference between SOP, personal statement, and letter of intent? So here's how I like to explain it. This is how I like to explain it. A lot of people have different explanations, and that is fine. In the ebook that I put out, I gave some specific examples of how to differentiate this. So let me use an example of a university, Northwestern University. Most times they ask you for an SOP and then a personal statement. So while an SOP this is the shortest answer I'm going to give. While an SOP sort of puts you in a lateral academic understanding, the meaning I'm trying to say is SOP simply puts you forward as an academic. It explains your study interests, your what drives you study-wise, your research experience if you're going for a research program most times, what you have done or what qualifies you, just some small differences here to explain that you're a fit for that program. Whereas a personal statement most times is an essay. I call it an essay. It's more of storytelling. They want to see what is your own story. So it's more narrative. An SOP is a stricter document. It's very strict in terms of how it should be written and the things that it should contain. While a personal statement most times is dynamic. Who are you as a student? Some schools ask for a personal statement as a way to gauge who you are, because most schools actually have this diversity thing where they like to have a diverse population as students, especially for a specific classroom. So personal statement is not less serious. That is not the word. That's not what I'm trying to say. But a personal statement is more focused on knowing who you are as a person. As a person, while an SOP is more focused on knowing who you are as a scholar. I think that's the best way I can say it. That's how I understand it. That's the way I've written all my SOPs and personal statements. The SOP presents me as a scholar. The personal statement presents me as a person, as a human being, right? Mofi, I'm coming to the chat box. I'm sorry. I just want to be done with these Slido questions. I am about to graduate with a BSc degree in biochemistry, and I'm interested in switching to pharmacy for my master's. Great. Now, the question is, switching to pharmacy for your master's. Pharmacy is a big deal. It's a big deal. Some universities, a lot of universities sometimes may want you to have first degree in pharmacy to do second degree, that's a master's in pharmacy. But some can be a bit lenient. I would advise that you have your grades in check. Just be sure that your grades are good. That would boost your chances. Make sure your grades are good. And if you're looking for a scholarship, make sure your grades are very good. Make sure you have some research experience in biochemistry. And even in the pharmacy you're going to, you have to define the specific area. I believe pharmacy is not just pharmacy at master's level. There are specific interests, specific places. So another thing I would advise you is work on academic papers. Now that you're still an undergraduate, your first degree, that's your what's it called now? Your project. Try and publish it. See how you can collaborate with your supervisor to publish it. See, everybody on this call, I think, let me just say this now. If you want to go for a fully funded degree, especially in the United States, and you are an undergrad, I'm saying this as slow as possible, an undergrad, the first thing I'll tell you is look for a way to publish your project. And even after you have published it, look for ways to write other papers. It's very possible. Chrome says, is it possible? This is the last one I will attend to on Slido, then I'll go over to the chat box. Is it possible to obtain a research opportunity? Let me tell you something I did. I have a friend on this call. We did it together anyway. So after school, during our NYSC, we started writing research papers. We wrote research papers, rather, a lot, right? We worked on some publications. We worked in tandem with some lecturers from our school where we graduated from our first degree, because we didn't publish our project, undergrad project. So we had to cut down that research gap between us and those who already have these things to offer. So we collaborated during NYSC. We wrote 2 papers together, one from my end, but he collaborated, one from his end, and I collaborated. And then we collaborated with a lecturer from our university. So that's one way. Another way is you can actually do research on your own. You just need to read a lot, be very deliberate about what you want to do, and be very intentional. Take your time and write something relevant, something that has in research, there's something called impact factor. You can't just put out any paper. Your research paper has to have an impact factor. So that's one thing to put in mind, because there's research and then there's research. So, and also, what a lot of people do is they attach themselves to, most times during NYC or after NYC, they attach themselves to lecturers in universities around their locality. So if you stay in Lagos and you can find your way into Unilag and get to meet a professor, you can offer to be his graduate assistant, and you guys can work on things together. So that's one way. So I want to go into the chat box. There are quite a number of messages. So let me start from the top. From my top, rather. Okay, I can see question 1. Just to be sure. Question 1 is the first question. Great. So I can see question 1. The person says, so I am a first class graduate, but I don't have research experience. Okay, I want to talk about this first class thing. And to the person, I can't even see who asked this question now. This is not about you. This just prompted me to talk about it in general. If you are a first class graduate here, and that is all you have, and you want a scholarship, especially in the US that is fully funded, that requires research experience, you are a liar. Well, sometimes you might be saying the truth because some people do get it, but a lot of times you're a liar. First class is not enough. And I'm not saying this out of envy for anybody who graduated with first class. First class is simply not enough. Um, a professor would rather take, if you're here when I give the example of how funding works for research, especially PhD, a professor would rather take somebody who has research experience in his field, right? With someone that has a 2-2, I'm going as low as a 2-2, a 2-2 with great portfolio of research, because anything would have contributed to that 2-2, anything would have caused it. But research is intentional. You don't publish a paper by mistake. I've never known anybody who did. You have to be very intentional. So they will take somebody with that 2-2 and solid research experience than you with a first class that has no research experience. So if you're an undergraduate, I'm coming to your question. If you're an undergraduate, I think I won't answer it just now, how you can get research experience. Please and please, you can do this by either collaborating with other people. That is why we are having the ARIT Edu mentorship program. This is one of the things we're going to be doing. Collaborations to produce research papers is one of the strongest things we're pushing for. So if you're not here earlier, maybe before the end, you should join our mentorship program, especially for people who are very motivated, right? So collaborate. That's the first thing I'll say to you. If you can't do it alone, collaborate. The next thing I'll say to you is, in the school you graduated from, if you're a first class student, it means a lot of lecturers, they know you. That also means that you may have the respect of many of them. So reach out to some of them, tell them this challenge. You can be honest with them that you need this research experience. Can we work on something together? You'll be shocked that they won't have a paper they're about to publish. They will just add your name. I'm not saying you should just go and add name without having the experience yourself. But sometimes this works. Some call it grace, but it works, right? So that's another way. Someone said, are there research programs for tourism fields? To be honest, I would say I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm sure there are. I'm really sure there are. You want to check Canada? Look into Canada, please. Important, look into Canada. Let's look at question 3. Are there opportunities for masters? Because it seems like there are more opportunities for PhD. There are opportunities for masters. A lot of people I know have gotten masters funding. But the thing is, there's a ratio to it. Let me put it like that. It could be 3:1 or 4:1. So for every 4 PhD students that are being funded, you get 1 master's that is being funded fully. For every 3 PhD, you get 1. I don't have the statistics, but I'm just based on my experience, what I've seen, what I know. This is how it usually is. And I explained why this is earlier. Usually when you're going for, especially when it comes to a research program, right? That is the funding you're looking for is sourced from research as an RA, research assistant. Professors usually want somebody who can stay more than 1 or 2 years. So they rather give somebody who will be there for 4, 5, 6 years and give somebody who will be there for just 1 or 2 years. So that's the explanation behind that. So they are for masters. You might just have to work harder or just be extremely lucky. I'm looking for question 3. I'm seeing a lot of questions here, but they are not tagged. I can't find question. Okay, question 4. Great. Can our undergraduate research project pass as? Yes, so it passes. Just the thing is you have to publish it because nobody will believe that. And by publication, I mean by publishing, I mean anyway. It's either you're publishing in a well-known journal, a reputable. That's the word they use. A reputable journal. A reputable journal. You can Google them. Those are journals with high. They are peer-reviewed. That's the word. But if you can't afford to publish in those reputable journals, sometimes this works. Sometimes there are journals that publish for free, but they are low ranked, and there are some. There's a word we call it where you can publish without it being peer reviewed. The word just left my head right now. I personally did it for my undergraduate project. I want to give you it. I mean, type something on the comment section, especially for the engineers in the house. I'm typing something down. Just search this on Google. And tell me what you find. So that was my own undergraduate project. I published it not in a peer review journal, but I wanted it to be online. I wanted it to be available for anybody to see. Because sometimes when you write these cold emails, the professor might go ahead and search your name or want to research you. You check your LinkedIn. And that's one important thing. I wrote this in my ebook, but let me just say here, you can't be a graduate student or you can anyway, but you should not be somebody who wants graduate education and not have an, it must not necessarily be very active, at least a LinkedIn account. Please, guys, very important. For me, that's why I stalk professors. That's why I get content. That's why I get information and some other small things you might not necessarily see anywhere else. Um, so publish your first degree if you can't publish it in reputable journals. I'm looking for the other question. Question 5. I think I answered this tourism. For someone that studied tourism and wants to further in photography, what is the possibility? It's very possible. But the thing is, for this, most likely you will have to fund yourself, or you get a fellowship, or you participate in some Nigerian scholarships that fund people in this field. But because I don't want to speculate and not be the truth, like the fact, but it might be difficult to get full funding. It might be difficult. It is very possible to get it. I need to be clear. It is extremely possible to get this. But just so that I don't raise any hopes or say what I don't know currently, as of today, 7:43 p.m., you might not get full funding for that. Question 6. Good day. Please, guys, we're working on the questions. We're answering them one by one, like you see. Just keep them coming. Good day, and thank you for this information. I'm a graduate from the 2-2 agronomy department UI. The only research experience I have is my final year project, but I get discouraged when I look at the requirements and I see 2 manual research experience. How can a newbie like me send cold emails with my qualification? I'm interested in the US because of the full funding. Okay, you have a 2-2. So somehow that already puts you at a disadvantage. Somehow you are not disadvantaged, but somehow it does. You need to beef up your research experience. You need to beef up your research experience. If you want to go to the US, I generally tell people, that's why I love speaking to people who are still in university. I wish someone had told me all these things I know now. Then maybe I would have done better. I saw a question that I was so itching to answer right now, but I remembered I was trying to answer one. I tell people that if you want to go to the US, give yourself 1 year to prepare. Some people prepare for 2 years even. So in that time frame, what you want to do is, if you want funding through this research, because it's not just research assistants just for there's funding. There's also TAs, teaching assistantships. There are CGRAs or GAs. I don't know which they use. Teaching assistantships is you support a professor, you teach, you grade. You might not teach. I think you might not teach immediately. You might grade papers, tutor some students outside class, take extracurricular, whatever task is given to you by your professor or the person who you are attached to. So people get funding through TAs. So people might not have the research experience, but they have massive teaching experience. And you need to communicate this in your CV as well, your academic CV. For me personally, I used to teach a lot when I was in school, but it wasn't really official. But I still put it in my CV, my academic CV. Whether it was my peers, people below me, I'm tempted to say people above me, but I don't think I ever taught anybody above me. But people below me are people that were my peers that I taught. I documented in a way that I think I gave that CV sample in my ebook, the academic CV that I used. I think I gave the sample. Yes, I did. I remember doing so. So beef up your research experience, but if there are other sources of funding you can also explore, like TAs, like I just said, or GAs, graduate assistants. You might work in the departmental office and you waive your tuition. But I think GAs are harder to get. RAs are relatively easy. Relatively, that's the key word. And then TAs as well. I'm looking for the next question. All questions will be tagged, guys. Don't worry. Just we're doing them sequentially according to how they were asked. I'm about to enter my final year and I plan on doing my PGD abroad, and the BSc straight to PhD seems like the surest way, to be honest, without any bias. It is the surest way. How do you suggest I build research experience as a student? Or is it after I graduate that I can get research? I'm a 2-1 6 upper. You have not graduated. You're about to enter final year. See, I don't know how to explain this, but you are a perfect project. Please mind my language, but you're the perfect lab rat. You are in a field that has crazy fun in biochemistry. The funding in that field, in those fields, that's biological science, I believe that's what they call it. Enormous, enormous. I love seeing students in this field. So first things first, clamp on your final year project. Do it exceedingly well in a way that it can be published. Very good. Make it very, 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 very good. Make it very good that it can be published. And after, sorry, just a second. I need to. Somebody just sent me a message. Somebody sent a direct message to me. Please drop your email as well so that I can send to you later. Please, I don't forget because this thing will slide out. Just send me your email. Or I think I've sent my email before. I'm going to send my email. Sorry. I need to take care of this because the person's question is very interesting and it's very peculiar to myself. Very, very peculiar. So I'll send something just now. The perfect lab rat, right? Do your final project exceedingly well and push to do more. Push for more. Push for more. For this person, you really should join our mentorship program. You really should. I think you're the perfect candidate. If there was anything like a perfect candidate, you're the perfect candidate. So you should join. You should join. You should join. Beef up your research experience is very important. The next question says, can we get fully funded scholarships for the UK? You want to look at Chevening, Erasmus Mundus, Commonwealth. These are some scholarships that offer fully funded education in the UK. The thing with the UK is universities themselves, apart from maybe Oxford, Imperial College, and what's the last one I mentioned earlier? Cambridge. Mentioning Cambridge just gave me one PTSD because I applied to them. I passed the first stage. I remember I did an interview and I just flunked it. I flunked the interview. So it's my fault. I think if I had passed the interview, maybe not. But anyway, moving on. So so fully funded scholarships for the UK. You want to check Chevening, you want to check Erasmus Mundus. All these things I explained them in great detail, especially the Chevening, because I have the craziest Chevening experience. I wrote everything down in my ebook explicitly. You need to get that for yourself. Information you will not find anywhere online. So please get our ebook. Someone says, please, for the full consultation fee, does it mean you guys will guide us through our application process from start to finish until we gain admission scholarship? Yes, actually. So there's full consultation. For the consultation, we don't even guide, we do it. That's the full consultation. We do everything. All we need from you is maybe the documents that we need to apply, some document like your result, your maybe passports, anything that we can't get on our own. And we do everything from start to finish. Make sure you get the admission. So that's for the consultation program. Then somebody said, I have a BSc 2-1 and I'm rounding up my MSc in biz admin, just left with my external defense. Can I start my application process for my PhD in the USA? Yeah, but it depends on what you want to do for your PhD. It depends on what you want to do. You have an MSc, so it even gives you another edge. It's not that people with BSc cannot get it over you, but having a master is a very good added advantage. Since it's in business admin, if this person is a lady, and this is for everybody, I'm just going to say this randomly, there are a lot of MBA programs, scholarship programs for ladies, MBA, fully funded for ladies, women in the United States. I think I had a client last year who wanted one, so I had to do a lot of research in that regard. That's how I got to find out about all those things. A lot of MBA funding for ladies, women, and a lot of tech. Mahmoud Sodipo, sorry, I pronounced that wrongly. We already answered your question, but I would just, since you said your network got cut, what I'll tell you is, the first thing you need to do is join our mentorship program. Like I said, you were the perfect lab rat. Like your profile is perfect to get a fully funded offer in the United States. You are in biochemistry, perfect. About to enter your final year, perfect. I told you to clamp down on your project, your final year project. Do it very well. If possible, collaborate with your lecturers to get it published ASAP after you finish your final year, and then work on other projects at the side. beef up your extracurricular activities. See how you can publish personally in some conferences. They are free. Publishing in conferences are free. Maybe sometimes you need a few people to get you in there, but ideally it's free. And just keep beefing your profile. That's all you need to do. But most importantly, join our mentorship program. That is to you, Mahmoud Shodipo. Join our mentorship program today. Question 11 says, is there a need for a cover letter after writing SOP and personal statement? A cover letter most times is what I would call a cold email. But I've seen this before. This is from my own personal experience, where they asked in the requirements that the students send a cover letter. I think in the samples that I provided along with the ebook, I gave a lot of cover letters. I gave a lot of cold emails. I also gave a lot of cover letters. So I think they are the same as well. They can be different. Get our ebook. You have the perfect answer to this. But most times is when you're sending a cold email. It's different from an SOP. Yes, you have to still write it. It's either you're putting it in the body of the email or you're attaching it as a PDF most times. Question 12, can I apply for scholarship without research experience or any? Yes, there are people who have gotten fully funded PhD without having, I wouldn't say without having research experience, I would say without having publications. Because the truth is, if you have done your first degree in Nigeria or in any country that, let's say in Nigeria, you must have done a final year project. That is research experience. Most times people don't know how to communicate it and document it in the way that it is regarded as research experience. So I wouldn't say nobody. I feel, in my own personal opinion, I feel if you have graduated from the university first degree, you have some research experience. It's just that you may not have published articles. And people get scholarships all the time. Like the story is different for different people. There's where you package yourself, your profile. But at the same time, some people call it grace, some people call it luck, but it works. So it's possible. You can apply. Another person says, how would you rank the field of personal branding, executive visibility using the impact factor? Is it a prominent field? The field of personal branding, executive visibility. Okay, so you're asking if the field of personal branding and executive visibility is highly ranked when it comes to PhD. You think what PhD is? Let me tell you something, PhD. Why I love the US, sorry, I sound very excited when I'm talking about the US. Why I love the US a lot of times is they study anything and everything. So the thing is, I don't know why I'm whispering. The thing is, you can do a PhD in anything. In anything. You just need to search enough. You just need to search enough. You can do a PhD in literally anything. As long as you can find somebody that will support the program, somebody that would offer you funding, or somebody that has similar stuff, a professor who's doing something similar. You can't do a PhD. You can't. Question 14, I studied computer science in school. Do I need an exam like GRE to apply for masters in the UK and US? Okay, in the UK, no, you don't need GRE. But in the US, a lot of schools have waived GRE, meaning you don't need it. But some schools still request that you have GRE. Generally, the advice is write GRE. It gives you an edge, meaning you can apply, you can have a larger bank of schools to choose from. I personally didn't write GRE. And a lot of people who didn't write GRE and got it. That doesn't mean you don't need to write GRE. And that doesn't also mean you must write GRE. So, like, I'm trying to paint the lines carefully so I don't paint outside the line. And what I'm painting inside is well colored, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't write it. I'm not saying you must write it. So, you just have to see what works for you. But computer science, I know there's a lot of funding in the US, a lot of funding for PhD. And one of the best computer science schools for me, my personal research for clients and even my own knowledge, is Carnegie Mellon University. I'm going to write that in the comment section. You can check it out. Carnegie Mellon. I think it's in Colorado also. No, just check it out. They have a very strong computer science program. I read a funny story one time of Carnegie Mellon. I read something funny about Carnegie Mellon one time. That this professor went to India. Was it India or China? And he met with one student. And the student just showed him some papers that he had written. And he was surprised. He said, wow, you wrote all this? I'm giving you this scholarship. Okay, guys. I don't know how many of us were here when I mentioned I just spotted something or somebody. I don't know how many of us were here when I mentioned that my friend and I, we, after doing our NYSC, we worked on some papers and we collaborated with one of our lecturers from university. Well, funny enough, he's right here, Dr. O.M. Ikumakpai. Sir, you're welcome. Such a privilege and an honor to have you here. So Dr. Ikumakpai is a well-seasoned researcher. If you go and check his page on ResearchGate, you might be intimidated. You will be, most likely. So you're welcome. Thank you so much. He taught me when I was in school, and we collaborated on a research work together last year. Thank you, sir. The best, the Google, the greatest, the greatest research scholar on the planet. Thank you, sir. Happy to have you here. So I was asking something about Caribbean. Check it out. Check it out. I would like to see the next question. Okay, question 15 says, good evening. As someone who graduated with a magna cum laude, is it laude or loud? I don't know. What would make me more likely to be selected for a scholarship? Please, what should I invest in as I go for NYSC before grad school? Any certifications? Do I do more research? Please research. So you have the grade already. You just need the research to back you up. Once you can have that research that will back you up, you're hot cake already. Try and see if you can publish 1 or 2 papers in this next 1 year that you would be doing NYSC. That's what I did during my NYSC. I tried to write a research paper. I tried to write it. So you should do that. That would increase your chances massively. Also, some certifications, some skills, it depends on the field you're in. If you're in engineering, you can invest in some softwares and all that. Question 16, I believe. Yes. Question 16. Good evening. As someone who graduates, wait, I answered this just now. I just answered this. Okay, so we're going to have the next question up soon. Let me go over to the app we're using. Or is it still here? Okay, let me ask someone question here on Slido before I go back to the chat box. Someone said, can you recommend an economics journal for publishing my project? Also, are there any full funding scholarships for MSc or research opportunities? I think I've explained all of this research, but in economics, every field of study, let me not say every, let me not be very static, but most fields of studies have specific journals that are well recognized. You could just Google. I know a large umbrella for a lot of engineering research works is Frontier. Frontier does that a lot. There's sustainability for those in energy and sustainability related stuff. Is it energy? There's so many, like so many. All you need to do is Google. You'll find a lot. I've answered this, I've answered this, I've answered this, I've answered this, and I've answered this. So I'm coming back to the chat box. Question. So guys, we'll be ending this by 8:30. So we'll have 30 more minutes. So MDPI, Frontiers, Elsevier, these are some papers that some journals that you could explore. Some research giants, let me put it that way, let me call it that you can explore. So question 16 says, could you please name drop? Okay, I think I just did name drop 1 or 2 journals that readily accept papers for the word readily there is very tricky because the thing is anything peer review is the scrutiny is high, so your paper has to be very, very. I've faced that scrutiny before, and the reply I got from the reviewer, it overwhelmed me. So they're very specific about the things that should be in your journal. There's some rules, depends on the kind of paper you're writing. There are some rules you must follow. If not, the reviewer will keep on hitting at you until either you drop out or you fix it and get it published. So I mentioned MDPI, I mentioned Elsevier, I mentioned Frontiers. There's one in my head, it's coming and going. Then yeah, that is for paid. Then for unpaid, send me an email. I think I've dropped my email here before. I have some resources. It's just not coming to mind right now. I would answer you.
just got a message from 3 months, so that should be good.